And then hopefully the fans that sit at first base don't.
You need a roll of duct tape to duct tape the fan's mouth shut over at first base.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna say Chuck anything. Um,
He gets one high in the air. Left field. This one's got a chance. And let's go on a cowhide. Jory Ride. Sound the horn. The RailCats clear the yard.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the RailCats Talk podcast. He's Chuck Blerick. I'm Kyle Savedich. And Chuck, still cold. Still cold outside. Yeah, I get it. You're chilly. You
Decent
got a blanket
outside.
on. You got a short sleeve shirt on. It's so nice to be indoors and sort of indoors. But last week, popping off hot with the signings, and this week, kind of along with the weather, kind of calmed down. But two very big, important signings that we have
I
discussed.
I would agree with you.
Basically, the left side of the infield comes back into play, and I would say fan favorite amongst the Railcats, and I would say even league wide, and a lot to do with his talent, but a lot of what he's done off the field. I think some people can put that one into you know, figure that one
Yeah.
out in their Sudoku, whatever you want to call it.
Elvis has re-entered the building.
Yes, Elvis has re-entered the building. But before we get to, because in the order I wrote it down, we'll get into Olivier Basabe,
All right.
brick wall Basabe, however you want to spin it on there. He returns. He's going to be 28 this year, from Venezuela. Throws right, hits right. He was drafted by San Diego in the eighth round of the 2017 draft. Spent 5 seasons in the minors. He spent 3 seasons in indie ball, Kansas City, Kane County, and with Gary. Last season with Gary, he played 94 games, had 338 bats, 34 runs, 88 hits, 14 doubles, no triples or home runs, 29 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, 5 caught stealing, walked 31 times, struck out 48. He slashed a 260, 334, 302 OPS of 363, and a fielding percentage of 380 or 338. This is what Jeff had to say about Olivier. I really enjoy watching Olivier work. At the plate, he loves to battle and frustrate the opposing pitcher. This is great for him and the rest of the players in the lineup. Olivier also has impressed us with his defensive abilities at third base. Um, you don't get the nickname Brick Wall Basabe without being a really good third baseman. And
Yes, unless you're really good at getting hit at home plate.
that too. I mean, brick wall can go one or two ways. I
Right.
mean, I know a lot of times, like you see there, you see the fielding percentage at 938, but a lot of that was maybe unforced errors as far as throws because he made such a great play at third. And like I said, fielding percentage is now in the terms of baseball is kind of dead because they have the more analytic size of like range and stuff like that, which we can't factor into American Association baseball. But I would say his range is up there with a lot of MLB players and his defensive ability. He has a really great arm. I know we didn't really see a lot of. We saw he started to kind of come on a little bit stronger at the end of the season, but the offensive side quite wasn't there with RBIs and home runs and other stuff like that. But he, like Jeff said, he battled. He put pitchers in situations that helped him and helped the rest of the team. And again, batting sometimes can be like pitching. It's just year to year depending on the situation. And he's a great player to have back at third, and I wouldn't want anyone else there. So
I think that my one uh, constructive criticism about Basabe is that he makes the phenomenal play, but he needs to have a little bit more judgment with when to hold the ball.
yeah,
You stopped it, right? But the runner's almost to first base and you throw it away, and so eliminate that, really focus on the understanding how fast you can throw, how hard you can throw, and is it a reality that you're going to get this guy out, or are you just trying to make a play? Because sometimes the best play is to just hold the ball.
yeah. I mean, that at the end of the day,
I'll say the same thing about the next guy.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, with Basabe is, are you gonna let a ball go through that's gonna turn to a double, or are you gonna stop it at a single, but then overthrow the ball, and then it turns into a double anyway? I mean, error, single error, but you get my point behind
Right.
it is
Right.
sometimes just being a brick wall is just putting your glove out there and stopping the ball from going any further, and that's what you need sometimes at third base. So I agree with that. I think this year I would like to see a little bit more offense production out of him. As far I know RBIs and runs and all that just kind of comes with the team itself, but just the batting average and getting more hits up there and just getting on base more. Obviously, his walks to strikeout ratio isn't terrible. I mean, you see plenty of people that have their uh, strikeouts doubled their walks, and he's relatively close in both, and he battles. So he's going to win
Yeah,
some, he's going to lose some.
I think that average as a whole, as a team, uh, the rising tide rises all boats, raises all
Hmm.
boats. And when you're on a team that is hitting, you tend to hit,
Yeah.
right? When you're on a team that's losing, you tend to not do very well. And so in the case of Basabe, I think that he'll kind of feed off of the rest of the team when they're hot, and start making those clutch hits. And I think that's what it comes down to. Basabe was one of the guys that really did have a lot of clutch hits.
Hmm.
Uh, we know what we're getting with him. It's been 2 years, and so having him back definitely important.
I mean, he's durable. I mean, he played 94 games last year, and that sometimes can be hard to find people that are that durable, especially, in the entire season
Right.
with the same team. But speaking of someone that's durable, I think he was the only RailCat, if I'm not mistaken, that played exactly 100 games last year for the RailCats. And that is Elvis has walked back into the building with the RailCats. Elvis Peralta. He was the shortstop last year, second base as well. He kind of moved around here and there. Bats left, throws right. So I think that's not the first lefty, but roster still full of right-handed batters in the lineup, which is something that we've discussed in prior podcasts before. But he's turning 29 this year. He's from New York. He was drafted by Oakland Athletics in 2019 in the 26th round. He played 3 seasons in the minors and then 3 seasons in indie ball. He played with Rocky Mountain, Tri City, Gary, and then at the end of last season, he was traded to York, who I believe won the Atlantic League. I don't remember. Went there, won a championship, and comes on back. So last season with Gary, he played 100 games. He had 389 at bats, 53 runs, 122 hits, 17 doubles, seven triples, 4 home runs, 44 RBIs, 31 stolen bases, 11 caught stealing, 49 walks, 80 strikeouts. He slashed a 314, 392, 416, and OPS of 809. And I believe his fielding percentage was 968 at shortstop this year. This is what Jeff had to say about Elvis. Signing Elvis back for the 2026 season was a huge priority for our organization. He was a real easy player to manage because he always got his work in. It didn't take long to see why Elvis was becoming a fan favorite over the 2025 season. We did get a quote from Elvis. I am truly excited to be returning to Gary. Our fans made it such a wonderful place that made me feel welcomed. But with great fans, teammates, and coaching staff, it really made things enjoyable. Um, I forget. Did I jog my
That
memory?
that's that sounds, it's kind of interesting that you don't get quotes from very many guys, but Elvis would be the guy you get a quote
Oh well,
from.
yeah. I mean, you
And
have
that
to.
say, that's just, I mean, we could talk for 2 hours about how good of a guy Elvis
Oh
is,
yeah.
and not only what he's done for the RailCats, but what he's done for other teams throughout the league and for the league in general, for
Mhm.
independent baseball in general.
Yep.
Right? I mean, we could practically. I could see if no if we're gonna get the same Elvis we got last
Oh
year,
yeah.
um, that because that's who he is. You could write books about this stuff. I mean, he really is textbook, the kind of guy that you just want to root for.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have I mean, obviously, at the story with Milwaukee with the little league players, him sitting down and chit chatting with them and working out a plan to get him over to the games, to watch the games. How many times you see him after games, before games, sitting over the third baseline, just signing autographs, saying hi to people. Uh, the personality, like if you want to encompass what independent baseball is all about, you put Elvis right there at the top of it. I don't know of anyone else that. I mean, there might be other players that come close, but right now he's the only one that I see that is relatively at top of that.
Yeah, very, very. There are others. There are others that I would say you would put the picture of them for independent baseball and what it represents. And Elvis would definitely be one of those guys. It is very rare, but having him back to Gary is
Mhm.
definitely a highlight.
Yeah, I stolen base leader. I forget. Did he break Diaz's, or was
Um,
he close? I can't
no,
remember.
no, I don't believe that he did. I think that Diaz had one more,
Yeah,
but
I think because I think he broke it at 30. 32 was record. I think he broke it at 33.
yeah, I think
I would
so.
have to go back and double check.
But here's the kind of the craziness about Elvis last year and what I could see as a huge highlight this year. Elvis always batted behind Jarius
Hmm.
Richards. And so when Richards would get on base, Elvis wasn't necessarily, swinging at the first pitch.
Hmm.
He was letting one ride, maybe let two ride. Jarius was stealing second base. Um, and so there was kind of a tandem there that the two kind of fed off of each other.
Yeah.
With Jarius on second base, next pitch, he's at third base, helps Elvis get a strike down the middle, helps Elvis get a hit or whatever. So there was a lot of that. The pitchers being more distracted by what Jarius had going on and kind of taking it a little bit easier on Elvis. But that being said, this year, I don't think that, one, you're not going to have that tandem.
Hmm.
I don't think that you're going to have um, situations like that. I could see Elvis being the guy that is getting on base, that is stealing the bases, that is kind of being that speed leader for you. And to me, I think that might even be better.
Yeah. Just someone that again can turn a single or a walk into a double within the
Yeah.
next pitch, even if he doesn't hit a double.
And with Jeff, I mean, things kind of changed last year.
Hmm.
You had Lamar there, and I don't know that I would say Lamar was necessarily a stealing or a ball guy. Maybe when it came to certain things, you could see that, right? But a lot of missed opportunities for stealing
Yeah.
bases. And then Jeff came in, and I think I kind of feel like he kind of put the brakes on some stuff at times, where it was like, hey, this guy would normally steal right now, but he's not.
Hmm.
And then other times it's like, I think he just has the green light all the time. He's stealing in a situation where I wouldn't have thought. And so it's a little bit hard to read what Jeff's game is kind of like when it calls what the base running is going to look like. I hope that it's going to be one of those things where, hey, 1.5 is your number. And, that first pitch, you can see that the pitch is a 1.7. Okay, next pitch you're stealing, that kind of a thing. Or the first base coach already knows from the previous guy that he's throwing 1.5, 1.6.
Hmm.
All right, you're going. That kind of a thing. I think that would be very good. And it's going to put more, a little bit more pressure on that first base coach.
Yeah, I mean that, or not even the pressure of the first base coach. I mean, it's the pressure of the pitcher and the catcher and whoever's covering second at that point. I mean,
Right.
that's ultimately the more pressure that you're able to put on a pitcher and the rest of the field to get people thinking. Because if you're thinking in baseball, you're wrong. You shouldn't be thinking. I mean, you should already have a game plan of everything. So if you're thinking, okay, I've already thrown over twice, do I try to do it again? And or is he going to go
But
or is he not going to go?
we
And
saw last year what happens when we start,
yeah,
getting a little cocky at first base. The next thing you know, we're getting pickoffs at key points where we're supposed
yeah.
to
I
be
mean
playing it safe.
that that I hope goes away. I'm okay with the aggression part of it. I'm okay with someone getting picked off if they misread a step from the pitcher and then they throw and they get a rundown. I don't necessarily like the pitcher being able to throw over there and getting you out by a mile. Like that's just one
Right.
of two things. Like you either got too far out or you're just kind of not paying attention and got lackadaisical. But going back to your point with Jeff, I think with him just kind of riding the wave of the game and based off the players is what his style seems to be. I think when it comes to you're riding the wave of okay, we really need a run, but I don't want to risk it at the moment, so I'm going to hold back on it. But it might be one of those situations where, yeah, he's going to go. I don't think it's going to be. There's going to be strategy behind it, but I don't think there's going to be a game script to like if we get down by this much, I got to start making things happen. I think he'll listen to his players a little bit more and say, hey, I feel like I can go on this guy, and he goes, okay, well if you can go, go. But if you get picked off or you get thrown out, like I'm going to put the red light on you for right now because I can't trust you in that situation at the moment. It's not that I can't trust you later on. It's just maybe you got a bad jump or they're just better. I mean, it happens. You got to catch that has an arm. You know, you have a Cooper Edwards back there, and you're probably more likely not going to run. So I think the less they put themselves in situations where they're going to take off and steal. Like I love stealing. I love the aspect of stealing, but constantly stealing on stressful situations isn't always the best the risk reward kind of situation. Like I said, if you're down by one
Mm.
run and one out in the bottom of the ninth.
See, now I see things a little bit more black and white. I see things of what the capabilities are with this person at first base as a runner. So therefore, whether it's going to be successful or not. Kind of the odds of
Well, yeah,
he's going to be 98% of the time, unless the guy makes an absolute perfect throw, which he only does 2 out of 100, right? That kind of a thing. Then I'm sending him because that's part of the game.
I
Know what I'm saying?
I understand. I see it, but you also have this is where the management side of it has to come into play. Is you're the one that's going to have to call whether or not to go or not, and
Right.
that's in my aspect of it. If you're, I get that 98% of the time you're going to make it, but do I really want to put it in the hands of did you misread a step? Does the pitcher know you're gonna go when he picks you? Like, there's more variance than just getting thrown out at first.
Right.
It's more than just that, and I think the more success that you have off of someone, the greedier you get, and sometimes that greed just goes a little too far, and now instead of the one out, you're two outs, and
Right.
now you're banking on a home run or two more people getting the guy. That's my ass. I'm not. Peralta's fast, so he can steal. He has a good jump, but sometimes it's better to know. It all depends on the lineup too, like how the lineup's facing out, and if it's a situation where you got a guy that's like, okay, he's either gonna single or hit a home run. Okay, hit and run kind of situation. Just go. Like we'll we'll if we lose the game because we hit in a double play or whatever the case may be, like that happens. It just all depends. If you have someone that's gonna move, like if you're gonna tell me you get like a Peralta and a Basabe, like that tandem going on, I I would put my trust in Basabe in that situation because he's able to battle. He might get himself a pitch that he's able to take a certain way versus like a Jake Gunther in a situation where he might just want to rip the ball and just end the game there.
Right.
So
Yeah, I would say yes, a little bit of it plays into who's up to bat and that kind of a thing. But to me, if the odds are very much in your favor with the guy on first base, that you have to be able to trust that the guy is going to be able to make it to second base. And to me, you have a lot better odds of scoring that run if the guy's at second base and you got somebody up there, whether it's a Gunther or a Basabe, than you do if you have the guy still sitting at first base. One of the big things that we ran into a lot last year, the year before that, um, so I would say the last 3, 4 years has been hitting into double plays.
yeah,
And that guy being a fast guy at first base, but we don't do anything with him, and then we've got 2 outs, and we can't score in that inning. Versus getting that guy moved over to second base, which we saw a lot better with Jerry's Richards, was getting that guy to second base. Okay, now all of a sudden you've got this threat at second base. The pitcher's more concerned about that guy than he is who he's pitching against, and makes a mistake, right? Or Richards gets to third base, and now that pitcher is more concerned about that, and he'd rather just put that other guy on base. So uh, stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot more complexity when you've got that guy at second base than when you got that guy just sitting there at first.
Yeah, it's just I guess my take on it is if I'm on the defensive side of things and I have one out and a guy in first, and the guy hits the ground ball, doesn't get the double play. Well, I got 2 outs with the guy on second. Like
Right.
the 2 out aspect of it. Like if it's just the no outs in the ninth inning, I mean, it's all situational based at this point. But if it's
It is.
no outs, I'm good with the green light. I'm perfectly fine with it. It's just sometimes you have to again play the odds, see what it is. Like it's just I guess if you're looking at I guess if I'm looking at it as the aspect of it's coming down to the last game of the year. Either you're going to make it in, or you're not going to make it in, or you're battling for the top spot. And you have a really good catcher and a really good pitcher, and Peralta at first. I'm not sending him.
Right.
I'm not going to take that risk. But now, if you give me some Joe, again, all situational based
You
on
can
this.
Well, the thing is, you have a really good catcher. You know what the percentage is of him throwing it where he needs to throw it at second base. Maybe instead of 2 out of 100, it comes out to be closer to 50 out of 100, right? And now you're talking about okay, and Peralta needs to be at a 1.5 or higher, and this pitcher's throwing at a 1.6. It's not worth it because now not only is it going to be just that close of a throw, but you've got somebody that can peg him down 50% of the time. That's not worth the risk, right? So, uh, I mean, it goes either way. It's situational, but the great thing is we're not talking about a guy that is as my dad would say when I was running. It looks like you're pulling a freight train behind you. You look like you're going fast, but you're not moving. At least we're not talking about that guy.
Yeah, no, and I have to retract my for some odd reason I sometimes you take a minute away from baseball, you don't look at the stats and you kind of forget about things. I totally forgot that Jarris Richard blew Diaz's record out of the water with 52 stolen bases. Now that guy, yeah, I'm playing the odds every day. Like every time he's on first, I'm the green light the entire time. I don't care who's behind the plate because at least, hey, he played 82 games, stole 52 bases. My odds of him stealing at least one base per game is pretty high. So
Yeah, he was significantly slowed down the last 30 games of the year.
yeah,
And I'm gonna say picked off probably 6 or 7 times at first base because they knew what the game plan was. And he was taking that extra step and couldn't get back. Right. And so the other part of it though is that you've got, maybe not as skilled an eye at first base coach that, hey, back, and let the guy know. That's what happens kind of when you switch first base coaches all the time.
yeah,
That's the role.
yeah, you know, it hasn't been from what we've heard. It seems like the coaching staff's coming back. It hasn't been confirmed, but from sources, mostly on your end, that
Still versus yes.
that uh, we're gonna have the entire coaching staff back, and I think I hope this year Jeff just allows the coaches to coach and be in positions that's going to allow the team to succeed instead. I don't know why Lamar came off of third because he wanted to be in the dugout and because he's, more of a offensive player hitting kind of coach instead of, Jeff's going to be more of a pitcher sort of situation. But the manager at this level should either have a designated person at third and a designated person at first, and not having rotation. Like I I get sometimes having to pull a coach into the dugout and
Right.
having a player coach be at first or whatever the case may be, but first is where a lot of the action happens. It's more important to have another set of eyes on first than it is third. Third base, you're really just judging, hey, I'm going to make the decision if you're going or not. First, there's a little bit more variances in that aspect of, you know,
Well, we're talking, independent baseball. So
well,
obviously,
it's
first
not going to
thing
be
you have to
perfect.
do well, the first thing you have to do as first base coach is you have to have that strong handshake to go over to that umpire and shake his hand. Make sure you slip him that 20.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Make sure that he understands you know who he is and he knows who you are, right? Wink, wink, nod, nod, and then hopefully the fans that sit at first base don't
You need a roll of duct tape to duct tape the fans' mouth shut over at first base.
exactly.
I'm not gonna say Chuck anything. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think what for MLB pitchers and catchers are getting ready to report. Baseball talk on that aspect's starting to pick up around, and I know it seems like it's really frigid and cold now, but eventually the weather's gonna break and it's gonna be May and we're gonna be playing some baseball.
Oh,
It's I've missed the outdoors a little bit. Starting to get really pale like a sheet of paper. Um, that's always fun. I need that fresh Gary air, the steel mill air into my lungs.
that crisp steel air.
Yes, the smell of burning gas and
Here's an interesting thing that off topic, right, of the Gary Air. Um, last year when we had cocktail or when we had hot dogs with Santa,
yeah.
right, which we did not get to do this year,
We didn't discuss that yet.
right? But last year when we went, or the year before last, I guess you would say it was the end of 2024.
Yes.
They had their new I Heart Gary sign
Yep.
outside. We said, I guarantee that thing is going to get broken, uh, probably before the beginning of the season. That thing is still there and still looking beautiful.
Hey,
So, I mean, we're wrong quite often.
yeah, and so we didn't get to discuss it because with the holiday season and with all the signings, I didn't really get around to it. It reminded me only I bring it up, because I remember I tweeted at you that they were doing the breakfast buffet thing at the Steel Yard using the suites, and I didn't realize that they reached or quoted my tweet or responded and said we want to do things different this year, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Here's my complaint. Now, this is maybe a fault of my own for not asking,
Uh-oh.
but when I looked at I get that it's a buffet style. I get the having to pay tickets to eat a buffet because you're up in the suites. It's not just hot dogs and hot cocoa, and it's more to it. I completely understand that. But it's hard for me to bring a at that point what 3 4 month old to
Right.
the steel yard and pay like $25 for them.
Yeah, it was I believe it said that kids over 3. I don't think that there was kids under 3 was free.
So when I looked at the when you went to go buy the tickets, right? It just says kids under a certain age. It didn't. It said like under 12 was this amount. It didn't
Okay.
say kids above. So I was like, so I guess it's maybe my ignorance for not going out and saying, hey, can my kid come for free because he's not going to eat this.
Right,
So
right.
it's just like,
Whoa, we're gonna charge double for that.
and listen, I heard good things about it. It seemed like it was really good, fun event. I completely understand it. I like the idea, but again, for some people, it might be a little bit out of the price range. I get it's a buffet style. There's more to it than just the food, and the food they had an array of really good food. I'm not saying they didn't have good food. It was the amount that you were paying was probably worth it at that point. But it's just one of those situations where it's sometimes nice even if you were to do they're probably gonna do it again next year. They're probably not gonna listen to anything that we say. They don't do it anyways, so we all know that by now. But it was just kind of hard for me to go, okay, we're gonna go, and I'm gonna. I think when I totaled it together, because I think fees and everything were included too, because it was through etix and they charged fees for all that. It was for three people, a family of three with a kid under 12 was like 120 something odd dollars to go. So I'm gonna drive 45 minutes to eat, not saying a terrible food, but for
Yeah.
some of that, it's and they didn't have Santa. I don't think they had a Santa Claus. I think Rusty was dressed up as Santa. I don't know what all they had there. Obviously, I didn't go, but
Right.
it just seemed like it priced out some people.
Here's what couple of my concerns. Um, Sometimes we try to do things that other people are doing. And this is a case where this is what the Chicago Dogs were doing. And they make money at it. So maybe we can make money at it. Um, and I don't think we're in the Chicago market to be able to do that, right? If you look at the median of how much people make around Rosemont versus the median of how much people make around Gary, or even take a Portage or a Griffith or the
Well, just
surrounding
Indiana
community.
in general. I mean, the cost of
Yeah,
living is much
um,
cheaper.
it is, and that's because we pay less money to the people that are living here, right? And so uh, when you make decisions like this, a couple of things need to be factored in. One is you're making a change. And so the best thing you can do is put out a statement about this change. Hey, we used to have hot dogs with Rusty and or with Santa, and it was a great event. This year we're going to change things up, and this is what you're going to get, and this is what it's going to be, and this is how we're going to do this, and you know we're definitely interested in your feedback, and move forward, and then do this. I think that it was not very well communicated because I really had, I saw it. I was like, you got to pay for this now. And then I had to dig into it a little more. Oh, okay. It's going to be food like this. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. And then dig into it a little bit more. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. I can, so I had to do a lot of digging to get my information versus it just being right there for me. And so that was, I guess I'd be a little critical of that. Um, but, hey, if it worked, okay. I would say that one, I'm not, I would say I'm not in that lower bracket by any means. And I am the guy who follows the team fairly closely. I would be interested in going. And so if I was kind of priced out of it for what you were offering, I would say that that's probably a bad sign.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know we sit there, we say, have to. I know we talk plenty of times off air to just go out and do something different. I know it sounds hypocritical for us. They did something different, and we're sitting here beating it over with a baseball bat. But I there's a right way and a wrong way of doing. Like, I guess for me, I was expecting, like, for an adult, $25.
Right.
That's reasonable. 35, I get it, but for a kid, I mean, I now granted my I don't you would know more than I do, but really how many kids in an area that's overstimulated with games and other thing are really focused on eating? And I know that it's not all about the eating aspect of it. You got games, you got everything else going on. I fully understand that. But in this situation, I would feel like, hey, let's we're gonna have some employees go. We're gonna make the food. What can we do to at least make a little money off? I'm not saying that you need to break even or go red. That's not what I'm saying at all. just enough to make. So what can we do just to make enough money to say, all right, let's test it out and see where we're at. If it's a big hit, and next year, maybe raise it up a little bit if you want. I mean, if you want to be greedy like the rest of corporate America, go right ahead and be greedy like the rest of corporate America and do that. But if you want people to catch on and say, man, I really want to go to this, I don't think charging $25 for a kid to go is the right avenue. I would
Right.
say anywhere from your 15. I can even swallow $20. It's just
Uh,
20. I could swallow it, but I would say probably between your 10 and your 15 range is probably where you're like. I mean, let's be honest with you. You can go to the baseball game, all right, which was about the same length. A baseball game is about the same length as what this was, for a whole lot cheaper. You
right.
could get a $10 ticket, a hot dog, and a soda for under
$25.
25 bucks. So and I get to watch a full game versus being in a room full of people that I may not know. And what benefit are we getting out of it? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I think we're just trying to kind of throw some darts at the dartboard to see what
And
would
listen,
stick, and I think we kind of copied off of Chicago for it, and I don't think that it. But hey, we don't really know if the
you're right.
numbers were what the
We
numbers
didn't
were.
go.
Was it successful? Was it not? Who showed up? Who didn't? All of that stuff. But now that you're saying it, I think that next year it should be ribeyes with Rusty, and
I
we
mean,
should charge them $75 a person.
if it's gonna be ribeyes with Rusty, then sure, sure, I'll do it. I guess from my aspect of it was that, all right. I've had a kid before Christmas. I want to go take a picture with Santa with my kid, and not knowing that Santa wasn't there, and it was just like,
We think
okay,
we think we weren't there, so we don't
we
know.
were, but based off all the pictures and Instagram and everything, I didn't see a Santa Claus there. I saw Rusty dressed up as Santa. I saw games. I didn't see anyone taking pictures,
It was the Rusty Claus.
and I mean that, but that's fine too if they're gonna do. I guess in my eyes, it was one of those situations where
You would have been disappointed if you would have shown up paying that kind of money and not had a Santa Claus picture with your kid.
I also think there's a different avenue you can go with it. If you want to do um
Ribeyes with Rusty.
ribeyes, but even to do the same thing, you could have a different ticket package of someone that just wants maybe a picture with Santa Rusty, right? You
Right.
charge $5-10 to go take a picture with Santa Rusty, but if you want the whole shebang, then you pay $25. Like
You don't have to pay anything. It's just pictures with Rusty. I mean, you could have also opened it up to be, hey, Rusty's going to be here for Christmas pictures. Show up, take pictures.
and
You
then
know,
if you decide that you want to eat the buffet, then here, 25
Right.
$35. I
Could have
guess
said
I guess that's that.
$25 or $35 on a new RailCats t-shirt that we so happen to have in the shop. You're right there to do it. I mean,
I guess that's the part that I was disappointed in, was like I was really looking forward this year to going to the steel yard and celebrating Christmas because I had a kid. Like I'm excited that he gets to enjoy that kind of stuff. And it
lost
was
out on.
just kind of like,
Mm.
man, I
You know what we can do? We can take the pictures that we got from the year before and we could superimpose him into it.
okay, yeah.
It'd
Well,
be like,
we know you chucking your pictures right now. It's
right. That's right.
man's gonna open his own
Are we,
printing
are we
press.
ready to announce my pictures?
You
Are
know
we
what,
ready?
Chuck? The floor is yours. You announce what you want to
Oh
do.
man. So, uh, I have been in contact with some players. I have thought long and hard about us being able to promote
Is your head
players.
okay?
Well, I have to have the hat on to keep the heat
I
in,
mean, you're
right?
thinking hard, so I just want to make sure your
No,
head's okay.
like it's kind of smoky right now. But we have started doing some designs for some shirts that are very player specific, player centric. And so excited to see that I will have some shirts that I'll be wearing around this year for different players. I'll get to show the different players their shirts. And if I have people that are interested in some shirts. Obviously, have to leave off things like the RailCats trademark stuff and all of that, but specific to the players themselves, I will have a deal with certain players that for every shirt I sell, some money will go back to them.
Well, hey,
So
it's and
fan, fans of the players.
we had a long discussion about your plan and your idea, and it's something that can be incorporated with the team themselves. Like I know that you okay.
Don't
What
let them.
okay. Well, I'm using you were talking to Mike who's the big Chicago Dogs fan. Um and he brought it up to Chicago and they said, "Well, we don't want to spend X amount of dollars on a player that we may drop tomorrow."
Right,
With the benefit of yours and what we were I'm not going to this can stay between us obviously, but what we were
right,
kind of discussing was that at the level that you're at, you can do individual printings and get it to the people. So if I'm not saying anything, but like say if Peralta was like, "All right, deuces, I'm going somewhere else." At least you didn't order 100 t-shirts
right,
and now you're left with that and you have to put it on the clearance rack and then hopefully maybe someone will buy it. I'm just saying in theory it's a good idea because I mean you look at college nowadays, you have the NIL deals. You look at I mean heck, there are t-shirt companies that partner with Major League Baseball players and NFL players and they have their own t-shirt kind of deal going on and they don't have any of the logos. They may have the colorway, but you can't yell at someone for having the colorway.
right,
Um so I think it's a great idea and again, these players aren't making a lot of money playing baseball. And so
right.
if it's an
Think how cool it would be
well, yeah, no,
as a player for you to go walking through the corridor after batting practice or after fielding or whatever, and here you've got, some 7-year-old, 10-year-old, heck, 40-year-old guy running through with your image, uh, cartoon character, whatever, on a shirt or on a hoodie. I think that's pretty cool.
no, I was getting that point. I guess I'm going more of the logistical aspect of it is that it helps the players because it $5 or $10 might not seem like a lot, but those $5 or $10 on the road or someone else can just get them something that they may need that they might have not been able to get or however much you percentage wise of whatever the case may be, but then it'll show instead of uh, we don't there's not a lot of jerseys that they sell anymore, and so you're not getting the so and so wears this number, I'm gonna go get this number jersey and I'm gonna have him sign it. Well, now I'm gonna get a t-shirt with his face on it, then I'm gonna go get it signed. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's at that, and then knowing that hey, this person spent their money on me as a player
Right.
makes me feel a little bit more important to the fan base.
Yep. And I look at it this way. How many times do we have sitting in our seats kids that can read, that are the age where they
Yeah,
they understand baseball, right? That let's just throw a number out there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, right? That
sometimes
that
17.
yeah, that come over by us and they're like, hey, you, hey, first base, hey, can you throw me a ball? Hey, coach, can you throw me a ball? They have no idea who these players are. They don't know their names. They just know number, you know, 48.
Yeah,
That's all that they know. And it would be cool if they were like, hey, this is the guy that's on my shirt.
yeah. I
And hey, this is his name. It's right here, and so there is no real guess as to who everybody is. And I think that kind of this brings it to a level of being a family type of thing,
mhm.
being a team, right? Being a close knit, uh, feeling at home. right? Which is what I think that the players should feel like when they're playing in Gary. And so kind of got the idea from a couple of different things that I kind of put together and thought about. And I think that this is probably the next logical step to build that fan base and to make these players feel they're professional baseball players, make them feel like they are professional baseball players.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, this isn't a shade at the RailCats. This is just across the league in general, any independent baseball. Like
Absolutely.
it's sometimes it's you're at such a personable level that a lot of these players get to know these fans, and not in a setting of like, oh, you paid X amount of dollars to be at this banquet. No, you're just at the game and you get to talk to the players, and you come to almost every game and you see the same players. It there's a real opportunity missed from organizations to make their players feel more included with the fan base versus just I get it. You may only have a guy for a day or two. I get that aspect of it. But when there's a guy that's been here for 4 or 5 years, you're signing him the first right off, as soon as the season's over with, you're re-signing him. Like those are people that are gonna remember, but then people are gonna forget their names because they're just not you see it from a quote unquote glass, and you're not. It's different. I just
Yeah.
think it's missed.
And here's something else is that um, a lot of these players, they have spouses,
Mhm.
they have family members that show up to the game. And what do they wind up doing? They wind up going somewhere else to buy a hoodie that they go to some custom shop to have a
Yeah.
name and a number put on the back, right? And Gary Railcats colors, just so that they could be tied to their player, right? And here is something that is a very solid way for you to be able to get those shirts to your family members, get them to your spouse or whatever, get them to whoever, and be able to say, hey, these are my players. Um, and it was interesting because I saw as I was talking to one of our players that hasn't been signed yet, that I was asking, hey, how's it going? And all that. You coming back to Gary? Really want you here. And as I was talking, I looked at something on his page, and he actually had kids with shirts with his number and a baseball figure on it. And so he had already went out and had
Mhm.
these custom shirts made with his number on it for family members or friends, or maybe he had a camp or something that he had, that he was involved in or whatever. But, this is kind of I mean, it's the cool thing to do. And so why not be in the front of that trend instead of being behind it? And here's the other part of it is that I also have that ability to partner up with some of the best players on the other teams because I have made those relationships. And so to be able to, when those players come into town, have shirts with their images on it, I think would be pretty cool too.
Well, Chuck, when you get that up and running and you finally have a website for all the link and stuff, that I think that'll be the main sponsor of the podcast. Listen, okay, and again, I just want to reiterate on it. I am okay the with the front office members trying new things. I just my friendly reminder to them is remember where you're at. I understand that it's not just Gary Railcats baseball. They're trying to incorporate all of Northwest Indiana, but a lot of the people that go to games are from around the area. So it's just if you want people to show up and make things success and make it bigger than what you want it to be, just remember there are people that can't always afford super expensive things or price people out. That's all. That's just my caveat to that situation.
Yeah, that's a good take. That's a good take. And my take is on that. Um, Try to always do your best to communicate it as thoroughly as possible, especially when you're making changes.
And listen, they like I've said it multiple times to you. I don't know on air off air. They have done a really great job of being present in the media realm outside of baseball season. I mean, when I first started the podcast, there was nothing. Like it was here's a signing that showed up a couple days later. Now it's Andrew Mild. They're on top of it. 10 o'clock hits on the day that they sign him. There's an article out. You know, he's doing his weekly thing now where he's running through all the players that they signed for the week, and that's awesome. I'm glad that that aspect of it has greatly improved. But now use your platform to really hype up that you had bowling with the cats, right? I don't know when that's supposed to start. It's supposed to start here shortly. But
February 5th, February 7th, whichever falls on a Thursday.
you're telling me that you can't come up with some kind of short video at the bowling alley or even at the steel yard, like promoting it more than just here is a poster. Give me your money, go bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like it just.
They have video. They actually have a really good video.
Oh, I guess I
Um,
haven't seen it yet.
that they could use from last year that they did at the end of the bowling thing. And it would be cool for them to uh, push that uh, because we went from the year before last, I think we had like 16 teams, and then last year I think we had 9. So it was a huge drop off from year to year, and it would be really cool to have more people. Um,
No,
we'll see.
I agree. I'm just I think if you're gonna dabble yourselves into coming up with goofy, try to be funny skits or interviews, but then you're not gonna promote the things to get the fans involved. It's kind of like, okay, what are we just wanting to um become media stars of those individual people, or are we trying to gather a fan base around something that when I go to a game, oh, I remember you from bowling, or oh, I remember you from uh the buffet with Santa Claus at the RailCats, like that kind of stuff, like that I think that stuff it can't be just a okay, here's one post on a Wednesday at noon when most people are at work and they're probably not on their phones. It's got to be more consistent. Like it's got to be like an ad, man. You gotta keep that stuff rolling. Get people salivating over wanting to do bowling or wanting to go to the steel yard in December and celebrate Christmas or whatever the case may be. Like that's just the stuff that I would like to see more of. Like jam it down our throats. Like that's what you watch TV? How many ads do you see of a Bud Light commercial or Allstate or they're there. Every other commercial is those kind of commercials. So blow up the
Here,
feed.
here's what I would like to see if we're talking about things we'd like to see. Um, 2 things. One, during the off season, specifically around this time of year, I would love to see new gear.
Yeah,
I would love to see, hey, for the past 3, 4 months, these are the designs that we've worked on. Hey, here's some new gear, getting you ready for the season. Yeah, they came out with the hat, which is okay. I mean, it's a hat, right? But not something that I'm going to be like, wow, this
no,
gives me something to look forward to. And I don't know that at the beginning of the season, I'm going to be like, well, maybe it depends on how cold it gets. That hey, I need to go into the gift shop and buy one of those hats. But a couple years ago, they revealed their new hats for remember when they switched over to the new brand.
yeah,
Uh, they had new hats, and it was like, oh wow, you got to get these hats. I would like to see more of that. I'd like to see more new product unveiled. Give it some hype, unveil it, give people a discount if they buy it right now, and do that kind of a thing. I think that would be really cool. And then during the season, uh, I want to go back to my idea that I had a while ago, which was I think you need to come up with a special for each team when they come in. We had the pulled pork uh, pierogies, right? When Kansas City was there. I think you need to come up with some sort of a dish each time a new team comes in. Make it reasonably priced. When you get Kane County in, they're big with their pork chops. Come up with a cool pork chop thing. Um, Stuff like that. I think you could give that a try. Change things up, but if you market it, come up with some good ideas, I can almost guarantee it'll be successful.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to speak, I know it's kind of not the RailCats, but did you see Cleburne's new look?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that the RailCats need a new look. I'm just saying that maybe a new style of something.
I I think they need new jerseys, but that's just
I
me.
see. I
Uh,
like I like the pinstripe. I like their jerseys.
no, I'm not saying that the design needs to change. I'm just saying that the washed out numbers need to change.
Yeah. I I, I would agree maybe a little bit on that. I think even their I don't know. I know they changed their home jerseys, but I really don't think they've changed their road jerseys, the green
No,
alternates, or maybe come out with a new green alternate this year, like or not this year, but just come out with something
come on with
different.
something that's a little different, something
Yeah,
that the guys are more comfortable in.
and then I don't know, maybe sell those jerseys.
Right,
That's
and
just
and maybe have the ability to put players' names on the back. I hate that the uh the jerseys that we buy for the auctions don't have the player names on the back. I understand why they don't have them, but I hate that they don't have them. I think that let's be realistic. Out of the 30 jerseys that they sell, 31, 32 jerseys that they sell, I'm going to say that probably 29 of them that they sell is because people want that player.
yeah.
And the other three are because, hey, these are the cheapest ones that we could find that weren't already taken by somebody else.
I
And so
and getting to and I think that's another aspect of promoting the players
it is.
is that the jersey auction sales are going to go up because you're going to get people that are going to like a certain player. I mean, you look at a Cooper Edwards sort of situation, he became a fan favorite and people were dumping hundreds of dollars on his jersey even if he wasn't playing every day or playing every other day or whatever the case may be, but the more personality you get out of players and get to know their names, the more likely people are going to drop money on it. Like that's just how it is.
The if the name of the game is business, okay, the more you promote your players as individuals, the more you're going to get individuals that want to play on your team, the more you're going to get fans want to come back and interact with those players, the more money you're going to bring in the door, the more seats you're going to fill. It's what it is. It's part of the make it that family friendly environment is part of that. So if you know who these players are, they're not just and this changes the culture of Gary Railcats baseball. That's where the problem's at. It changes that culture. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We need to switch from you should be grateful that you play in Gary and change it to we are grateful to have you on the team. That it needs to be a shift that we make.
I
And that is, hey, we know who you are, and we want to share that with everybody else.
I think you can even put that metaphor towards the fans. It shouldn't be that you guys should be grateful that there's a team in Gary. We should be grateful that you're coming through the door. And I honestly think that there it's small enough to say, you know what, maybe at the end of the year, I don't know if they'd be able to do it or not, but what do our fans want? What are they saying? Send out a quick survey. Like you can't come up with some. I don't know surveys very well, but I'm pretty sure you can come up with some weird link that sends someone to a survey and say, "Hey, you fill out the survey. Next year, you get 10% off your next purchase. Here's the coupon for it." Just to, And it's just to get feedback, because I'm not saying that does everything go in through one ear out the other. It might. I don't know, but there's no. I remember, was it? It wasn't last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. The American Association put out a survey to fans, just talk about their teams and stuff like that. So I don't. I just it, again, the fans are the reason you're playing the game. The players are there, yes, but to fill the seats. But and if you're just ignoring what fans are saying, then
Right.
more people are just going to go elsewhere.
If you're ignoring what the people are saying, if you're ignoring what the players are saying, if you're ignoring the players as a whole, if you're ignoring the fans as a whole, I don't think I see that tide changing with Joe.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I
versus what it was before. I see that tide changing with Joe is focused on it being family, friendly, affordable, safe, right? All of those things that you can ask him. There's a list that he constantly says um, on a regular basis of what his goal is for the steel yard for the fans, right? Um, part of that though needs to trickle down to the players,
yeah,
and it needs to be, hey, you're also our guest here, we're also really appreciative you're here, we're excited that you're here, and let them go out there and feel as important as the fans are, right? Um, I think that needs to happen, and I think that as fans, as people that interact with these players on a regular basis, that maybe this is my way of being able to help out with that is to hey, let's have some shirts with the players on it made up, and let's see what we can do, and let's put them in the hands of the fans. Also, let's get us some talk baseball shirts made up, some hoodies made up with me and you on it, and uh,
you mean Gary talk baseball?
yeah, Gary baseball uh, talk podcast. Let's get that done, and why not, right? Let's have some fun with it. You're gonna already be spending a bunch of money on a hoodie anyways, so
Well,
let's
naturally. I mean, listen, I'm gonna make all these complaints, and I'm still gonna drop hundreds of dollars every year, besides my tickets. Drop it
right.
on food, merchandise,
Yeah,
everything else in between.
I
Um,
think I buy my unlimited food tickets. I think I spend $300-400 a pop on those things.
well, you definitely get your money's worth, Chuck. We know that.
Not I've
not
yeah,
not not last year, year before, man. That was
the big
whoop,
yeah.
whoop,
Well,
whoop,
yeah,
whoop.
exactly. My thing now is when I invite somebody, I like to have a wristband for them to be able to go and enjoy themselves. It makes it a lot easier on me because I don't have to sit there and kind of babysit. Hey, what would you like? You want something? You want me to go get you something? It's, hey, this is part of the deal with the ticket. Here's a wristband. Go get you some hot dogs and what have you. So I do my best to be able to promote the team, as do you, right? uh, and do our best to do this.
Eh, try
So
my
still
best.
waiting to get
We
paid
try
on
our
this.
best. But, well,
When are
Chuck,
you getting the check?
Ryan, Ryan, yeah, keep sifting through the sand for the gold, buddy. Okay,
Yeah,
we need our
yeah,
money. Okay, we
yeah.
need our money. You need to start sifting through the sand. I don't care if it came from Home Depot. Sift through the sand.
You got to start running one of those Bitcoin miners on your computer in the spare time.
Yeah, right. Unreal. Well, I know this is everyone's favorite time of the year when we sit here and talk about promotions and great brilliant ideas that we can just that the RailCats can just put in play right away without knowing the logistics behind everything.
Right.
But Chuck, we have taken a lot of the viewers or listeners' time. What is your final out for the day?
Oh, um, well, what was it? 3 weeks ago, we got back to this,
Yes.
something like that. I was really disappointed in where we were at. The tides have changed. I'm really excited about where we're at right now. I can't wait to see some big names drop. I actually heard that that we've got some in the pipeline, some big names that could potentially drop in the next week or so. And so that's exciting. Um, so yeah, I think that RailCats baseball has a lot to be excited about going into this next season.
I agree. Well, if you made it this far, hopefully you're warm, and thank you for staying this far into the podcast. But that's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of the RailCats Talk podcast. He's Chuck Buttock. I'm Kyle Svedich, and go Cats.
Go Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.